Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Playing catch up on these little PSK knives a bit. There's going to be a pretty fair amount of those coming down the line. Talking about older ones, different types of neck knives or smaller knives, because one knife isn't necessarily just a neck knife. Like up to a certain size, and if you were a big huge dude, you could use a big huge knife as a neck knife. There's no really measurements to go by that separates a neck knife from a belt knife. That's just kind of up to you. This dude is what I would consider a neck knife. Now, if I was gonna run it as a knife of the month, I would put it in a belt sheath, and I have a leather belt sheath for this guy. You can get them on eBay. I don't know many other makers that make them, but you can get a leather sheath for about all of the ESEE knives. This is an aftermarket Kydex sheath that I believe I got off Essie. The original sheath is really boxy. It's just a square plastic. I'm not sure if it's even Kydex. And this was the tan Candiru with aftermarket orange scales on there. Here is the little fish. It's the Candiru. If you're not familiar with the Candiru, it's a small type of catfish that likes to swim up your pee hole. So you can do more research on that if you feel like it, but yep, they'll go right up your urethra. That's how you spell it. So Randall's Adventure Training, or the guys at Essie, are about an hour and a half from where I live, so I try to make it to as often as I can out there to the farm. Jeff's a super cool dude. All of their instructors are super awesome. A lot of the knives they have are named, you know, JG or a PR. That's James Gibson and Patrick Rollins are two of the main instructors out there. I don't think either one of them had their hand in creating this guy, but when you get it, it's going to be, you can get them purple, like dark tan, this sand color, lime green, black, lots of different coatings on these things. And the handle is relatively skeletonized when you get it. The way these scales are made is they're made so when you tighten it together, they do touch in the center, in those holes, skeletonized pieces that are in there. They don't come with a bearing block divot, but I put one in there, and it works really well. You can put it inside the sheath and still rock and roll with it like this, and it works fine. I did my normal deal for my sheath kits. Got a Wazoo Viking whetstone there, and some fat wood, and a safety pin, a ferro rod toggle, a couple glow sticks, and a larger needle that I made. These were fun. I got in the kick of making these for a little while and was just hammering out these needles. I'd made some, had beat them with rocks, and I put a divot in it so you would loop the cord. It wouldn't go all the way through. You just kind of loop it in there, and you could still pull your material through what you were sewing. But I had made them with only rocks. Pretty cool. Something to do anyway, just to see if I could do it. And that's just baling wire. Just normal steel wire. But pretty neat. Looking at about 5 inches overall length on this. So handle wise, you're going to be, you got about 2.5 inches here from the end to about right here is 2.5 inches. So you got about 2.5 inches of blade. Most of the time, these do not come with a 90-degree spine. But if you have a belt sander, you can easily put a 90-degree spine on these guys. They're 1095. They're your Essies are going to be 1095. I think they're at Zanduko or whatever it's called. I believe it's a stainless steel. But normally you're going to get 1095. The coating, the coating will wear off after you use it a good bit, and if you don't treat it, you will get some slight surface rust, but it doesn't hurt anything. Once you start using it again, you'll just wipe that rust off of it there. It's got light jimping here on the end just because of how big it is, but I would use something like this in more of a pinch grip anyway, doing things. But it will hog off plenty of material if you're looking at doing feather sticks or what have you with it. It will it's plenty stout enough to do. Whatever you're looking at doing with it. Figure if it will make decent curls, you can do about everything you need to do fire prep wise. If it'll scrape a ferro rod, and you can process material with it, it's strong enough to do some batoning. So if you did have to take smaller deadfall, we have lots of deadfall out here in my area. So really you're just picking stuff off the ground. But if it is wet and you need to process some of that down to get some drier stuff to work with, you know, it's totally capable of doing so. Just like anything, you know, practice with it. That way you know what's what whenever you're gonna need to use it. Super strong. ESEE has a no questions asked lifetime guarantee, and if you go to shows, sometimes these guys have this cool thing set up where they've taken all of the return stuff and welded it to this big circle, and it's just kind of like a visual, it's like art, I guess would be the best way to put it. And there's been knives that they've shot with 50 cals and all kind of stuff. Like, people do all kind of crazy mess with them, and they're guaranteed forever, no questions asked. I've personally never broke one, and I've beat on some of them pretty good. I have a 4HM, which was, I got a what's it called? What's the Azula? I got an Azula was my first Essie that I had got, and then I had got a 4HM, and then got this later on down the line. And my 4HM, I've beat on with rocks and all kind of stuff. Super tough knife. As well as I have some alumni PR4s and stuff like that, some custom stuff, but pretty awesome option from American-made company. Again, this is the Candiru from ESEE Knives. Alright guys, I got some more I got to do, but I appreciate the support. Feel free to like and subscribe, follow along with what we got going on. You can check out all of our older stuff at Bushcraft Kelso on Instagram, bushcraftkelso.com for gizmos and gadgets. Until next time, later.